Alright guys, welcome back to MCubed. Sorry I might sound a little sickly, haven't been feeling the best today or over the weekend. But yeah, we're here to talk Last of Us, of course. And what a truly miraculous show. Like, I just can't believe I get to witness and see other people witness one of the best stories of all time, and it's so faithful to the video game. I love what I'm seeing from these guys. Like, you get the showrunner, or you get the game creator directing this episode 2, and like, I don't think he's ever directed anything outside of the games. But I mean, those are very cinematic video games, so I knew he'd do a pretty killer job. But yeah, again, like, this episode, it follows the video game very well. I noticed a lot of differences, though, I will say. I know with in the game, they're cutting through that big building. They're in there way more, and that's where you see clickers for the first time. They held off until they were in this museum, which was straight from the video game too. So that was nice to see. And that's where we see the clickers for the first time. And wow, I love what they did. Like, the clickers are just as terrifying as ever. And like, it was just a very what's the word I'm looking for? It was very tense, you know. And that's a good word to use for it. But yeah, it was very tense, dramatic, suspenseful. That's what I'm looking for. But yeah, like, that whole scene with the clickers was pretty awesome. Like, it was man. Like, it's just, I love what they have done with this show so far. Like, it's truly, one, I think it's going to be the show that everyone talks about. I still think it's still taking a little bit of time. It's already getting great word of mouth, but it's going to be one of those shows that everyone watches. But of course not everyone, because a lot of people aren't terribly into the whole zombie and end of the world thing. But people are still, like, I feel like there's maybe some fatigue from it, because I know The Walking Dead at one point was the biggest show of all time. The kind of Thrones took that over, and Breaking Bad took that over. But yeah, I mean, this show has potentially one of the biggest hit shows ever. I think it'll run for potentially 4+ seasons. Even though there's only 2 games, I can see how they could, after the end of this first season, they could do, because Last of Us Part 2 has a big time jump, so maybe there's some good stories along the way that Neil Druckmann wants to, like, flesh out. And of course, I think they could also do some spin-offs. But again, I like what they're doing with this, where they're adding more detail to scenes, or they make it more interesting, where excuse me. But yeah, it makes it more interesting, like, just seeing the stuff fleshed out. What I like in this episode was how it was quite different compared to the video game, where we find out the Tess got bit. All that in dialogue is roughly quite the same, which I enjoyed. But the difference here, which I think it's a brilliant difference, where in the game they had where it's like some of the, like, military comes in and takes her out, and she just puts off, like, a little final stand. In this, because they add the new details of, like, how there's the fungus under the ground, where there's a moment where you can, like, draw a ton in the of these infected towards where I think it's like how a certain one of them drops and hits the ground. I think that's I believe that's how it was explained. But regardless, it's like a hive mind, which is really cool. So, like, instead of just having this, like, these military people come in, you have a ton of the infected just burst into the Capitol building. Of course, we see that like, all these other all the Fireflies were killed, because one of them got turned, and they kind of went on each other. Um, but again, so this is the highlight to me from the episode was what they did with Tess's death. Because it's different from the game, where again she just gets shot up by a military. In this, you have all these zombies coming in. What's epic is uh, she spills all these like gasoline containers and whatnot, and like a terrifying image that I noticed. Well, I don't want to say noticed because I just viewed it, but terrifying was the idea, or just what was terrifying was just seeing this infected uh, go right, basically a half clicker, not fully clicked out yet, but goes up to Tess and like basically makes out with her in a way where she just puts the fungi into her mouth, and she's trying to light this she's trying to light her lighter, right? And it just won't work, and she's like, oh shit. But that scene was truly amazing and so different compared to the last. We don't even see her death on screen. You just hear gunshots in the game. And then you see her dead body eventually, but you don't see her final moment. And this, I love that we get that. And we were introduced to such a good character. What's epic about this and the video game is that you get introduced to a lot of characters, and you fall in love with like almost every single one of them, but you don't get much time with them. The only people you really get a ton of time with is Joel and Ellie, which is what makes the whole which will make it all work and be best. I love that dynamic between an older man and a young girl who needs protecting, and they're not blood or anything, but he becomes a father figure to this girl, and you can tell he's already a little like, again, he's hesitant of like liking this girl or like wanting to protect her. He's just kind of, again, he's just been through it all. He's been through hell and back in this world, and he's become quite a cold, heartless bastard. We eventually are going to get to a point where Joel loves this girl, and once we get to that point in the show is when I can't wait. Because once we get to the last episode, especially after this whole build up of of 9 episodes, I know the last one is gonna hit home. And but we still have so many great things along the way. Like, you guys are gonna meet Sam. You're gonna meet next week. We're gonna see Frank and what's his name? I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. I literally was just playing the game too, and I can't remember. Oh, Bill and Frank. Bill is, yes. Thanks for joining us, Harris. Yes, the episode was crazy. Like, it was very tense, and yeah, I agree. It was a great episode. But anyway, we're gonna be introduced to Bill and Frank. In the video game, we never know Frank, but it's just like this idea that Bill was in love with this guy, and then he's just out of the picture in the video game. And this, it's gonna be cool to actually see their relationship and like how they interacted. Like, I saw it in the sneak peek. Like, I already kind of like their dynamic when Bill meets Frank, where Phil's like, you don't tell anybody about here, so I'm not giving out free food, I'm not in Arby's. And then Frank's just like, what? Arby's was a restaurant, they don't give out free food. I'm like, okay, that's good, it's good stuff. And it's cool because, I mean, again, by playing the video game, I never really got to know this character because he's not on screen. So it's gonna be cool to see that. And again, seeing Sam and his dad, I can't remember the dad's name, or I have it flipped, maybe Sam is the dad, but or older brother, man, I don't know. It's been a while. This is my favorite video game. I'm blanking on all of this, but regardless, like, we're gonna get introduced to a lot of cool characters. We're gonna see Tommy again, and I just really look forward to what the show has to offer us. Again, like, we finally got to see some clickers, which is awesome. Like, they handled them so perfectly, and like the whole scene with them. I just love how Joel was, like, he's just like, he has to be quiet. I like how he mouths, like they can't see, they can hear. I'm like, wow. Like, that's everything about the show. It's like, it has such good quality, and the acting's superb so far. The dialogue's unbelievable. The visuals are nuts. I really love what they have done with this show. And because again, it adapts some of my favorite material of all time. And this universe is amazing, where I could see them eventually doing spin-offs, just like kind of like The Walking Dead, how they did Fear the Walking Dead, just see new characters. I was thinking about this over the week, since the first episode. Of course, I was counting down the days to this episode, but I was just thinking like this is the first like truly incredible, in my opinion, video game adaptation. Like, of course, Detective Pikachu is cool, Sonic was pretty good, but to me, this is like the best thing we've ever gotten from a video game movie or show. This format, I think, fits video games the best. Just doing a good, TV show, like a series, because then you can expand upon what you have from the video game, as well as just be able to fully flesh out the story and not do like a 2 hour movie, which was the problem with Uncharted, for example. But anyway, what I was thinking about throughout the week was what other video games should be adapted. And I think it would be a very smart idea for AMC to do a completely loyal Last of Us type adaptation of Telltale's The Walking Dead. I would love to see Lee and Clem's relationship. It'd be a lot like how this Joel and Ellie thing is. Like it's similar, but obviously different because they're very different people. But I think that would be an awesome video game adaptation, which I think AMC should take advantage of that since they have the rights to The Walking Dead. And again, and it's in the universe, and they can make it into the universe of their version of The Walking Dead, but where the video game is based in the comic book universe, so it's different. But still, I think it'd be awesome to at least get like the first. Or, I mean, they could just do like 4 seasons, and just do exactly what what Last of Us is doing. I think that would be a huge hit. Oh, hold on. Yeah, but that'd be an amazing hit. So I really hope, because I think that's a great story, just like The Last of Us, where I know a lot of people just don't have time to play video games, right? And because it's a commitment. And Telltale's The Walking Dead and The Last of Us, I always thought, are 2 brilliant stories about the end of the world and a man being able to just fall in love with something precious and dear to him in this world that's taken everything from him. So I think it's a brilliant thing. And again, I don't think a lot of people have been able to play Telltale's The Walking Dead either, because again, people don't have time, and I think that's one of the best stories out there too. And I've always said this about The Last of Us; it's my favorite material. And like both those games are very very cinematic, because one's has a lot of fun action in it, but the other one's completely story driven. Because it's just pressing dialogue, and it's not like very actiony, or it's not like really a shooter, even though you can get a gun and shoot. But it's games like those where I'm like, man, the storytelling's excellent. I've been wanting a Last of Us show or movie forever, and I'm happy they're doing it this way, where we already have 2+ hours of this universe, where we still have like at least 7 more hours to dive deep into. So I can't wait to get more. But yeah, I think that's going to do it here. I thought the episode was brilliant. Again, Pedro Pascal is incredible. I really liked yeah, no, I agree, Harris. I mean, just a story, that's how you draw in an audience no matter what. As long as you just tell a damn good story, people are going to love it. But again, I loved all the acting from everyone. Like the girl who plays Tess was good. Pedro's incredible as Joel, and then Bella, whatever her last name is. I'm now sold on her as Ellie, and I can't wait for more dramatic moments with her, because Ellie goes through a lot in the game, especially probably around episode 7 or 8 is we're gonna see some crazy shit with Ellie, and I'm excited for it. Where you see where Joel just becomes the absolute man, and I'm so amped for people who have never played this game to get the most of it. Yeah, I agree, Harris. It's like the test girl, she seemed legit. She doesn't have to be this like incredibly hot person. I mean, I think she's attractive. It's like, but she felt real. I agree, and that's what's. I think so far that's what's really good about this show. Like these characters feel like real human beings. Um, and that's what's different with the video game, because of course with a video game, like these are just models, right? With this, of course, I just love getting the actors to fill these roles and play these characters amazingly. So yeah, I think that might do it here, guys. I had a great time talking about The Last of Us. I know it's a much shorter one, but it's getting a little late, and I'm not feeling the 100%. And it was a fairly shorter episode. Oh, actually, before I log out, I want to talk about the intro to this episode, which I thought was really good. I kind of like this theme of it, like the first two episodes dives deep into what this disease is. I think that's awesome lore and background for this universe, and I love the actress in the beginning where like she's like the second she saw what this is, she's like, I'm terrified. This is all going to shit. We're not gonna be able to stop what this is, and I just want to go home and see my family. I thought that was so good, and I'm really again I'm loving the first like few minutes of each of these episodes because it's going into the science behind all of it, and it's quite terrifying because it feels so real, a real world, and like what if this happens? We'd be screwed. But yeah, guys. Harris, always good to chat with you a little bit in the chat. But yeah, like I really enjoyed this episode. So far, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen from a production quality level and a story level. So can't wait for more, guys. Can't wait for more. All right, I'm Schmook here with MCubed, and I will catch y'all very soon. Bye bye.